Hi everyone, welcome back to Gavin Reads It All. And who can believe it is time for spooky season? I mean, I've been celebrating spooky season for the last 4 or 5 months, I'm not gonna lie. So happy October 1st, I hope you have the best Halloween season of your life. I'm still hard at work doing my vlogs of Halloween, so I thought I would break that up a little bit with some other little videos in between that. And today I have a book haul for you. I have been collecting these books from the end of July through August and September. I also got this hoodie off Etsy. I will leave a link to the shop down in the description box as well. Not sponsored. But I just think this is perfect. Look at it. It's like a pumpkin with the books making up the... Oh my god, it's great. But my fashion is not what we are here for today. We are actually going through a good few books. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And would it be a Gavin Reads It All book haul? Oh, Gavin Reads It All book haul. Rhymes. If I didn't have a stack of nostalgic books to hold up for you. And I do. Oh, I do. I have the Twitches series by H.B. Gilmore and Randy Racefield. Oh my god. Look, all 10 of the Twitches book. You know Twitches? Go Twitches. Go Twitches. You know the Disney Channel original movies? Oh my god. I need to give Twitches 1 and 2 a rewatch before Halloween. I really do. I freaking love those films. Now, obviously, these two on the cover here are not my Twitches. Where's Tia and Tamara? But before there was a Disney Channel original movie series, there was a 10-book series from Scholastic. I always end up finding the best deals on eBay. So a lovely person was selling all 10 of these from Australia. So I had to get them. So I'm thinking next spooky season, I might try and do a reading vlog reading all of the Twitches books. I definitely don't have time to do it this year, unfortunately, but I have this on the cards now. I am definitely going to do the Twitches series. In Twitches, at least the movies, were about 2 sisters and they are twins and they were separated at birth and they both have magic. And then one day they meet for the first time and then realize that they are twin witches. I feel like the book series is going to have that authentic 2000s teen book vibe. Well, the writing's not going to be exactly the best. It probably hasn't aged all that great, but it's going to be a frolicking good time. Cannot wait. Let me know if you've read any of the Twitches books. And then I do have another little stack as well. I have the next 6 Terry Pratchett books that I need to read for my Gavin Reads All the Discworld series. And I didn't buy these until I'd finished episode 1 and knew that I want to read the entire series. And I do. I really do. I really enjoyed the first 4 books. My very first time reading Terry Pratchett. And I just see the potential in how great the series can become. And I've heard nothing but fantastic things about God's Gods, which is going to be in episode 2 of Gavin Reads All the Discworld, which I'm hoping to get done in November. And so I picked up Sorcery. Don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced any differently. Weird Sisters, which this has also had a lot of people say on my episode 1 video that they loved this book. So Weird Sisters is one I'm very excited about. Pyramids, as well as book number 7. God's Gods. Yep, this one seems to be a lot of people's favorite book in the Discworld. Then we have Eric, which is a tiny little book there. And then Moving Pictures. And I did say in the first episode, I want to commit to at least the first 10 Discworld books before I decide whether or not I'm going to continue and read the full thing. And here we have it. Here's the rest of the first 10 books. And I definitely already know that I want to read the entire thing. I do. So that's going to be my project for the next 1.5 to 2 years. And I will definitely be reading all of Discworld. I honestly, the first 4 books, I'm telling you, were so good. I imagine you already know what the Discworld series is about. It's a massive fantasy series. There are different series within the series. So you have the Death series, which follows death, and the Witches series, which follows witches, and all of that good stuff. And yeah, first 4 books were pretty good. Let's continue on. I have some graphic novels next. One of them is Nordless. And this is by Malin Falch, and this is book 1 in the series. I bought this when I was in Norway. So at the very start of August, I was in Norway, and I did go to Outland in Oslo, as well as in Bergen, and other little bookshops. And I think I got this one from... I don't think I got it from Outland, actually. I got it from another independent bookshop. And this is a fantasy set in Norway. It felt very fairy tale-esque. I felt like I was learning a little bit about Norse mythology through this. Of a little girl who ends up going on an adventure. And it's very paint by the numbers in that regard. But I really did like the illustrations. And I did find myself enjoying the story. I read this on my train home from Norway. So I already read it, already enjoyed it. And I would 100% continue the series if I can find book 2. I also picked up Hollow by Shannon Watters, Brendan Boyer White, and Berenice Snell. And I'm taking this one to Sleepy Hollow with me. I wanted a few options for books to read while I'm in Sleepy Hollow next month. And I do have a couple of other options, which I'm going to show you soon, but they're going to be like full-length novels. This is a graphic novel that I thought looked pretty good. I believe it could be LGBTQ+, and it follows Izzy Crane, who ends up moving to Sleepy Hollow. So I'm excited to give that a go. And then I went to Steph's, my love, Steph Loves, before we went to Jade's wedding back at the end of August. And when I was at Steph, she was unhauling a good number of books. And she was like, Gavin, do you want anything? Anything you want in these stacks, you can take. And she was unhauling the Buffy the Vampire Slayer graphic novels. And I only have the first graphic novel, which I've had for years and I still haven't read it. But I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And yeah, these are some of the graphic novels that came out. So I have volume 2, Once Bitten, which has like a Halloween pumpkin on the bottom there. So I wonder if that would be a good one to read during spooky season. And then we have volume 3, From Beneath You, and then volume 4, Frenemies, and then like the kind of spin-off one, Willow. So I feel like these could be really good to read maybe in October at some point. Like, you know, when I'm struggling with reading too many full-length novels, it could be so good to break it up with some graphic novels. So yeah, thank you so much, Steph, for letting me just take these home. You are the best. And Steph also let me take Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This was her favorite edition, which she wasn't hauling. She didn't like the look of it. Isn't she doesn't like this edition of it, which honestly, I don't mind it. I think it's quite pretty, but I was never going to buy Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil myself because like a lot of the V.E. Schwab books I've read have been a little bit mid for the past couple of years. Like, I haven't hated them, but I haven't loved them. So it's been like in the middle of the road. So I was never going to buy this book myself. But lo and behold, Steph was unhauling it. So I was like, well, I mean, it's free. So why not? Let's take it. So I got this one. Do let me know if you think this is one of the best V.E. Schwab books for me to read. I thought The Invisible Life Out of the Rue was okay. It was okay. Soft AF, The Fragile Threads of Power. And yeah, I just haven't like really loved anything by her in a while. So I'm going to give it a go because it was free. But also it's like very slippy. Like it's just not the best, but it's okay. I had pre-ordered a signed and exclusive edition of Hecate, The Witch by Nikita Gill. This one is like all poetry. And I freaking love that. I haven't read, you know, like poetry in a while. I think the last one I kind of read was either like The Black Flamingo or Other Words for Home, you know, where the prose is poetry. But this follows Hecate, and she's taken to Styx, where like she is being raised by Hades, I believe. I don't know like how the narrative is going to come through. So I feel like maybe it does tell like one overarching story throughout all of these different like poems in it, maybe. But honestly, I'm so intrigued. You have no idea. So intrigued by how it's kind of told. Like, is it linear or is it just like all random poetries? Apparently the first book in the Goddesses of the Underworld trilogy. So this is going to be the first one in 3. So I feel like this will be so quick and easy to get through. Gorgeous, gorgeous copy as well from Waterstones. It'll be so good as well to break up those books that I'm reading that have a lot denser narratives, such as this one, 13 Months Haunted by Jimmy Giuliano. This one has been talked about a lot recently, and I ended up wanting to pick it up for either like, I could either read it for my 24 hours of reading video or in Emboss or Toss, because I am planning on reading as many horrors and thrillers and spooky books as I can over the next month. And this one, I believe, follows a school librarian called Piper, and she notices a girl, like I think this is also set in 2000, and there's a girl who comes in and she won't use any of the computers at the school. And what's even weirder is that her mother comes and she sits in the classroom every day as well, which is seemingly a little bit strange for Piper. So I think this is just a story like kind of delving into maybe a creepy child. I don't know. And there must be some kind of haunting. Ideal for fans of Stephen King and Stranger Things, apparently. And I'm a big fan of both of those. Although I haven't watched Stranger Things since the end of season 3. So I need to get back on that. This cute little book from the author of the Traveling Cat Chronicles, which I read earlier this year and really liked. This is The Passengers on the Honkyu Line by Hiro Arakawa. I got the lovely little edition of it as well, I think maybe from Waterstones. And this is essentially just following a train line between Kyoto and Osaka, 2 places I've been to, and the lives of the passengers who come onto and off this train. So I feel like this is going to be like a lot of human stories stitched together to form one big narrative, but I feel like it's going to be one that I'm going to be able to cozy down with over the new year. So last new year, I ended up reading a few cozy books to kind of round out 2024 and go into 2025. I actually think this will be such a lovely, you know, like the week after Christmas, in like the first week of the new year, I feel like that's like the perfect time for me to read nice, cozy human things if that makes sense. And so I'm kind of saving this for the end of the year. A book I read just recently, and you will see it in my Sneak Across My Bookshelves video, is Walking Practice by Dalkey Min. I saw this as a recommendation from Allie Does Read, and I've also seen Kayla from Books and Lala read it, I believe. And this is essentially about a sex-craved alien who kills and eats the humans that they sleep with right after. It's really fucking weird. It is so weird. The visuals, the descriptions, what actually happens. It's so gnarly and so visceral and just so utterly bizarre. But in a weird way, this also made me laugh a few times too. And it also made me relate to the main character, the alien, a few times as well. There were a few things that the narrator said, and I was like, oh my God, that's so me. That is so me. So if you want to know how I relate and identify with this sex-craved murderous alien, then you're going to have to read this and find out, aren't you? I gave it 4.5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. I did need a couple more books for Sleepy Hollow just in case, because I am reading The Legend of Sleepy Hollow while I'm in Sleepy Hollow, and it's a short story, so I'll most likely get through it pretty quickly. So I have a graphic novel, but I also picked up, I doubt I'll get to all of these, but I also picked up the Spellbook of Catarina Van Tassel by Alyssa Palombo. This is a little bit big. I might read it on the plane as well, just in case. Yeah, it's like over 400 pages, so I might not get a full chance to fully read this, but I love the sound of it, so I was like, okay, I need to get this. Even if I can't read it in Sleepy Hollow, I still want to get it. And if you know the story of Sleepy Hollow, you know Catarina is Ichabod's love. And in this one, Ichabod actually goes missing on All Hallows Eve, and I think Catarina has to try and find him, all the while trying to avoid the Headless Horseman. So it sounds so good, it really does. And then I also picked up Sleepy Hollow by Dax Varley, and this one also has Catarina, but in the past she has had a run-in with the Headless Horseman, and it's like traumatized her since. And then she meets Ichabod, she starts to fall in love with him, but the Headless Horseman then marks Ichabod for death. And kind of just like this one, it is kind of, you know, saving Ichabod. So two very similar sounding books. I feel like if I was going to be able to read one all the way through, it might be this one, because it's around about 250 pages, whereas this one is maybe just a little bit too big. But I still love the sound of it, so I was like, even if I don't read it, I want to read it anyway. So yeah, I have those two. If you've read both of these, let me know which one you prefer. That could really help me out. I picked up Lights Out by Nevessa Allan. A few months ago, I was on a live show on Patreon, and I had a few people tell me they would love to see me read this and to give thoughts and feelings on this. And I might do a vlog on this in November. It is apparently a viral TikTok sensation. I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't have TikTok. But we follow a trauma nurse called Allie, and she thirsts after masked unknown men who are prominent online. And we also have Josh, who likes to post like thirst traps, you know, like with the mask online, like all those kinks. And I think Allie, her dream has always been to be hunted or something. Like that's her kind of sexual desire. It could be a really fun time. It really could. But the fact that I had a few people tell me, Gavin, I need you to read this because I really want your thoughts on it, has made me really want to give it a go, because that intrigued me. That intrigued me. And I also picked up another book called Lights Out. So here we have Lights Out by Kayla James, which I think is going to be totally different to the one by Nevessa Allan. Because yeah, this is an F1 romance. And I also have two more F1 romances. So I have Lights Out, and then I have Crash Test by Amy James, and also Pole Position by Rebecca J. Caffrey. So Lights Out is the straight one. The straight F1 romance. So I'm going in apprehensive. Just stop shoving your agenda down my throat. That's all I ask. I'm totally kidding. If this is your first video of mine, I'm totally kidding. So I want to do a Formula One romance reading vlog at the start of December when the current Formula One World Championship ends. So I have become an absolute F1 girly. I have been obsessed, absolutely obsessed. I've also been obsessed with Charles Leclerc, who is my absolute favorite. So I'm backing him all the way. And I think this might be like inspired by Charles Leclerc a little bit. I feel like maybe the author was like fan casting Charles Leclerc as the main character in this, or the main male love interest. But yeah, Blake, she's always wanted to drive for Formula One, and now she has the chance. And now her teammate is Ryder, and she's always had a crush on him. So I feel like there's going to be some like steam there and all of that. So that could be really good. Like, I am very excited for it. And then these two are gay, and I genuinely cannot get over the two characters on the cover. Their pinkies are together. Like, that is so cute. But yeah, we have a romance between a Formula 1 driver and a Formula 2 driver. And it's like a little bit of a forbidden romance. So yeah, the less I know about these romances, the better. In Pole Position is another gay one. So we have Kian. I think he's like the more experienced golden boy Formula One, and then a rookie comes into it called Harper, and I think like just romance ensues. And yeah, I can't wait for it. I genuinely cannot wait to do that F1 romance reading vlog. It probably won't do that well, which is honestly fine. I just want to wear my Formula One outfit in Read Formula 1 romance. So I haven't really shown off that many popular books, you know, like current popular books in this video. I mean, obviously Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil, Lights Out, they're pretty popular. But another like current popular one is Catabasis. I said Catabasis in some Patreon reading sprints yesterday. Jade from JDA Reads ripped me to shreds. She was like, what did you say? Catabasis, darling. Catabasis by R.F. Kwong. I feel like you can pronounce this any way you want. Rebecca, Miss Rebecca, she is obviously loving the fact that her titles can be pronounced in different ways. Like Babel, Babel, Catabasis, Catabasis. See, Catabasis just rolls off my tongue better, so that's what I'm going to say. We actually follow a grad student called Alice, and she wants to be like top of her class. I think she wants to specialize in alchemic. I can't say words. Alchemic magic. Alchemical? Analytic. Analytic magic. Oh my god. I should not be reading this. And the only person who can make her dream come true is in hell. And I don't know what else happens after that, but that's funny. I'm going to rue the day I mentioned this on a video, honestly. I feel like you're all going to take the piss now. Next, I have Witch Law by Emma Hines. This one has just come out. I got a pre-order from Waterstones. This one is set in Devonshire College, and Orlando is the main protagonist, and they are like an outcast, and their girlfriend has died. Okay, so I think Orlando is also called Lando, because they say their name is Orlando on the back there, and then it changes to their girlfriend Elizabeth died and it was Lando's fault. Don't use that nickname in the summary, because like you introduce them as Orlando. For a second there I was a little bit confused. I was like, wait, hang on, who is Lando? Obviously it's Orlando. That makes sense, but that kind of already pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm like, But no, this sounds amazing, because it sounds like it has like a lot of LGBTQ plus representation in it, and it sounds like really witchy and really spooky as well. So yeah, I do love the sound of this, even if the summary pissed me off a little bit. I have a true crime book called The Idaho Murders by James Patterson and Vicky Ward. I am a little bit apprehensive about this one now. This one I got for like £5 at the works, so it's like really, really cheap. But I am a little bit apprehensive to read it now, because it is based off of a real life murder, and this is true crime. But I have seen reviews of people saying that this kind of sensationalizes some things, and not all of it is accurate. So now I'm not 100% sure if I want to read it, if it's going to be inaccurate for anything, because The Idaho Murders, I've mentioned this a few times on my channel for the past couple of months now, because it's just been on my mind absolutely constantly, and I can't get it out of my mind. This has been a case that has terrified me, and I just can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. It's just devastated me. So I thought, you know what, this could be my second ever true crime read. But let me know if you've read this. Let me know if you have read this. And please do tell me if it's worth reading or if I should skip it. I mean, it was really, really cheap at the works, so I don't feel like I've wasted any money here. But I've never read anything by James Patterson, so I don't know what his reputation is like. You know what? Actually, I do think about it every time I go to bed. Because the guy who did this killed 4 innocent people in their sleep, and they were in bed. And so every time I go to bed, I think about it. I'm not even trying to like blow this out of proportion. I have been traumatized by this case. Now, whenever I go to sleep, I think about it. And I don't want to do that. I'm trying to move on. But I feel like the more I know about it, the more I feel protected, if that makes sense. Like, I've watched a lot of documentaries, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I feel like the more I know about it, the less scary it will be. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does, but anyway, yeah, true crime. Next, I picked up the Waterstones Thriller Book of the Month, Murder at the Black Cat Cafe by Seishi Yokomizo. This one is set in Tokyo in 1947, and it's set in the Pink Labyrinth, which is one of the city's most bombed cities. At night, a policeman is, walking by the area, and he sees a monk kind of burying a body outside of the Black Cat Cafe, which I've heard is a brothel. So there'll be some shady shit going down at the Black Cat Cafe. And there's also the corpse of a black cat. Oh, that's going to be so devastating. Why do I feel like I've been reading so many books recently, and there's been animal deaths, specifically cat ones as well. It's been a lot of cat ones. And that is just, oh, that's not on. I do think the story is going to be pretty amazing, because it's said to be like a Japanese Agatha Christie, but I'm already upset. I'm already so fucking upset. On the flip side of that, though, I do have the Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop by Takuya Asakura, and this is another one that I would love to read in that limbo between Christmas and New Year. And this is about a bookshop that only appears during cherry blossom season. Like, how cute does that sound? I actually have some cherry blossom hanging things, like these leaves. I have some like cherry blossom versions of it coming that I wanted to put up in my manga room. So I feel like this is like so apt to read soon. But yeah, this is told over 4 seasons, and I think it goes through like different people's lives. Again, it's like very slice of life and very cozy. Another kind of cozy one is The Wizard's Bakery by Gu Byung Mo, and this is translated by Jamie Chang. And I picked this one up when I was in Outland in Oslo. I also got this from Oslo as well, because I got 4 books when I was there. So this book and then another 2 after. But this one is set in Seoul, and I'm going to Seoul next year in South Korea. It was my Trova trip. It did sell out the day that I launched it, but I will still leave a link down in the description box if you want to come to South Korea with me, because there could be a potential cancellation and there is a wait list. There are a few people on the wait list at the minute, but you just never know. A spot could open up. But part of me is like, should I save this for when I go to Seoul and read it there? Because it's set in Seoul. But yeah, this is a bakery that holds magic within its pastries, but each of the items comes with a warning that they could potentially change the world. So that's kind of intimidating, but also sounds very magical and also looks very, very cozy as well. Another book I picked up while I was in Oslo is The Gate, the Girl and the Dragon by Grace Lynn. This is a middle grade, and I haven't read Grace Lynn's middle grade books since I read like 3 of them. It was like Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, one of my favorite middle grades of all time. Love that one so much. And then there were 2 more. And honestly, I feel like Grace Lynn is probably like one of my favorite middle grade authors that I don't talk about enough, but also because I don't really read a whole lot of middle grade. But if I'm gonna like middle grade, it will be via Grace Lynn. So I think this follows Jin, who is a stone lion, and they accidentally kick something through the gate that leads to the human world. And he has to like kind of reclaim this thing that he's kicked. And he meets a girl, I imagine, and a dragon. So if like Where the Mountain Meets the Moon is any indication, it's going to be so like adventurous while also having so many like morals written in there too, and really good characters to follow, just so magical and just so lovely to read. And so yeah, I don't really pick up a whole lot of middle grade these days, but if I see Grace Lynn with a new book, I'm going to get it. And this is a really beautiful edition of it too. So I'll give this a read. I'll let you know how I feel about it. And then the last book I picked up in Oslo, and honestly, I saw it one day and then I had to go back and get it because it was like on my mind, because I was like, I love the look of that, I need to get it. And that is When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly. Look at how beautiful it is. And it's gay mermaids, or just a gay mermaid and a gay human. And I was a little bit put off because I did read one that I DNF'd just before I went to Norway. It was in one of my vlogs. Can't remember which vlog it was in. Oh, hang on. I think it was Snake Across My Bookshelves, episode 1. And I read Out of the Blue by Jason June, and I didn't like it. I DNF'd it. And so I was kind of a little apprehensive. But this one looks better, okay? Not only because it's like absolutely a beautiful, stunning copy that does have illustrations, and also like chapter heading pages like this. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is so gorgeous. And it's gay. It's gay. And set in 1910s New York. And we follow Benny. And the merman Rio is a kindred spirit, wise and more compassionate than any human he's ever met. And a friendship of necessity deepens to love. Oh my God. Oh, this could cure my ice cold heart. Because you know romance with me. Romance can be very miss for me, because I'm a stone cold, bitter, single bitch. But this one has the potential to defrost my nastiness. The Brandon Sanderson Secret Project number 5 came as well. So we have Isles of the Eberdog, and I have the first 4 secret projects on my shelves there, looking absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, this is a really nice, beautiful book. I love the fact that it's like black pages. Like, that is just so different. This could end up being like a little bit tricky to read, I'm not gonna lie. Like, what will this do to my eyes? I've never read, the first half of it is in normal white pages. This intrigues me, because I'm like, why is some of it in black and why is some of it in white? Got some illustrations in there too. No idea what it's about though, because it doesn't have any summaries anywhere. But I imagine it's going to be part of the Mistborn world, I think, maybe? I really don't know. Then from the Broken Binding, we have The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. And this is a sci-fi that I believe came out like over 30 years ago. Like, this is a bit of an older one, which I honestly love that Broken Binding is doing stuff like that. They also released The Left Hand of Darkness by Ishra K. Le Guin, which came out a long time ago. So I really love the like kind of classic sci-fi that they're doing. And yeah, this one came out a while ago. I believe it's kind of like, you know, a look into like faith and like humans and like going out deep into space or something. They want to go to the farthest frontiers of human exploration. They went for the greater glory of God. So a really vague kind of premise. I don't know what to expect, but just know I'm excited, but also scared in case it gives me an existential crisis. because it most likely will do that. Another Broken Binding book that came was A Darkness at Sethanon by Raymond E. Feist. This is the third book in the Rift War saga. So I got the first two books from the Broken Binding. This is part of their subscription. Another really beautiful edition. Really looks lovely next to the first two. And I believe this is a series where there is a massive war brewing and it comes to a head in this one. The first book is called Magician. Another Broken Binding book is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have been wanting to read this for probably about like 5 years, I think. I remember it being a little bit popular on BookTube when it first came out. All I know is that this one is set in a city called Tova, and there is an eclipse coming, and there is a ship coming in that is, I think, captained by our main character potentially, and they only have one passenger who is said to be normal and nice, but could potentially not be. Riveting summaries from Gavin Reads It All today. Breaking news. The next Fairy Loot epic fantasy book came, and that is The Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford. And this one follows Bone Raiders who essentially have control of these massive fire-breathing lizards. And they use them to defend their homeland, and I think maybe their homeland gets threatened by outsiders, and it must lead to some kind of like epic fantasy kind of journey. From Illumicrate, I did get the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I have read The Assassin's Apprentice. I read this a few years ago, and I really liked it, but I need to continue. I know we follow Fitz, and he's a bit of a tragic character, so I've been meaning to get back into the series, so I will reread the first book, continue on, but I do really absolutely love the Illumicrate editions so much. They are all very, very stunning together. Is that right? I've got the right way. They are all very, very stunning together. It also included Royal Assassin as well as Assassin's Quest. And so I think 2026 is going to be the year where I read popular epic fantasy trilogies, or if it's a bigger epic fantasy series, I'll just break it up into trilogies. Like the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, I still have the first 3 that I want to read and do like a vlog for. So I also want to do a vlog for this, and maybe that could be my project for 2026. A book that I read recently was The Library at Hellboy by Cassandra Cole. This was an Evernight book. I did go in with apprehension because I did not like Nothing But Black and Teeth by this author, but I was genuinely surprised by this. This was actually a lot of fun. It is set in a kind of like a university college campus where the antichrists of the world kind of go to, but it wasn't quite like that, I will say. I was expecting something a little bit more with that kind of angle, but anyway, I digress. During a ceremony, the teachers eat all the students, and the surviving students end up running to the library at Hellboy and lock themselves in, and it's kind of like that little journey and adventure and horror there. And so yeah, no, this was really good. If you like prolapse vulvas and dicks past their expiry date, then this is the one for you. But I did have a fun time with this, actually. I'm genuinely surprised how much I liked reading it. Definitely an improvement over Nothing But Black and Teeth. Not perfect, but an improvement. The last one from Illumicrate is Voidwalker by S.A. McLean. This one follows Fee, who must be this person, and she smuggles magic between worlds. This also has elements of a heist because she's also tasked to smuggle a bomb somewhere, and it kind of goes against what she wants to do, but she's kind of, I think, forced into doing it, and it leads to things unraveling from then on. I absolutely adore the cover and the look of this one, I'm not gonna lie. It's quite a big one. It's nearly 600 pages, but I'm hoping this is a win for me because it does sound really, really good. And I love the look of the kind of like Northern Lights on the back there too. Like it just has like a great vibe, potentially a good wintry read. If you've read this one, let me know if it will be perfect to read during winter. Then the last 2 are Fairy Loot Romantasy books, and I have cancelled my subscription for Fairy Loot Romantasy. So the only Fairy Loot box I will be getting in the future now is the Fairy Loot Epic Fantasy. I think that's the only one I'm really interested in anymore. I did start with like pretty much all the Fairy Loot boxes, and I've been cancelling them very slowly throughout the years. And now I will just have my Fairy Loot Epic Fantasy ones. So I do have Arcana Academy by Elise Corver. And again, like this is another one that just slips out. Like these are very flimsy. Like it just slips out. That's what she said. So this one follows Clara, and I believe she would ink tarot cards or some kind of thing with tarot cards, which is a sort of rare power that they want to preserve at the Arcana Academy. So I think Clara's been jailed, and a prince comes to break her out and take her to Arcana Academy where she will be safe and hopefully be able to use her powers for whatever reason. So this was one that came in from Very Little Romantasy that actually sounded right up my street. I did like the sound of that. So I was like teetering on the edge. I was like, should I cancel? Should I cancel? And then the next one came in and I was like, you know what, I'm cancelling. So the next one came in is Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer. I've read a few Bridget Kemmerer books in the past. I'm not really the biggest fan of Bridget Kemmerer, but this is a different story to what I've read in the past. So who knows, I could still potentially like it. But this was a catalyst where I was like, cancel. So we have a Warrior King Maddox, we have Princess Jory, and a young nobleman called Asher. The princess and her family, their magic is failing. The king has a ruthless reputation, and Asher, I think, just wants to bring everyone together, potentially. I mean, I will still give it a chance. I'll still give it a go. I could still potentially end up liking this one. I do think it's a beautiful book, don't get me wrong. But yeah, this will be the very last Very Little Romantasy book that I ever haul. So it is the end of an era. I only had the box for like a year. I believe I only got the first box maybe October or November 2024. And it's currently September 2025. So I had the box for a year. I tried it. Wasn't terrible, but I had bigger priorities. I had bigger fish to fry. I did actually pick up a few mangas in Danmaze and manhwas while I was in Norway as well as a couple of other volumes of other things over the last few months. But I will probably do a manga haul on my manga channel. So if you want to see what I've hauled manga-wise, then my channel is Gavin Reads All the Manga. I might try and get a manga haul up over the next couple of weeks, potentially. But that is the end of this book haul, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all your comments down below. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned in this video, any that you think I should prioritize, any that you didn't love as much as well. I don't mind if you want to yuck my yum a little bit. Do it down below. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon, then the link is in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.